To take the session further, I request Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe ji from Rambhav Malgi Prabodhini, patron and of the C20 Secretariat, to present his Secretariat report.
Her Holiness, Pujya Mata Amrutanandamayi Devi ji, our beloved Amma, the most popular and successful Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra, and more importantly, the President of Rambhav Malgi Prabodhini, our Chairman, Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji, Nobel laureate amongst us, the very well-known social worker, Shri Kailash Satyarthi ji, our Sherpa for C20, Ambassador Vijay Nambiar ji, our friend from Indonesia, Sherpa of C20, Mafu Chan, Ahmad Mafu Chan, but he is popularly known as Mafu Chan. So, am I correct? Right. And the person who is later on going to take over from India, our friend from Brazil, whom we just now heard before me, Miss Alessandra Nilo, who is currently the member of the Troika, well-known social worker, and who is leading the Vivekananda Kendra, Madam Bhideji, Nivedita Bhideji, also present in this hall amongst us, our two deputy Sherpas, which are known as Su-Sherpas, my friend Swadesh and DM Kiranji, all the senior officials of the government here who have been relentlessly supporting all our efforts, making this C20 meeting a great success. I need not name them, all of them, and without their cooperation, this would not have been possible. So I must acknowledge and welcome all of them to this particular function today. All others, and especially those who are not amongst us, which means the most well-known spiritual leader, Shri M, whose message, of course, is going to reach us later on virtually, and all those who have been supporting the C20, which, as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has envisaged, has contributed in making G20 a public movement, not just a government activity kind of. Namaskar to all of you. थोड्या वेळापूर्वी मी माता अमृतानंदमयी देवीजींना भेटलो, त्यावेळी मी त्यांना असं म्हटलं की तुमचं वैशिष्ट्य असं आहे की तुम्ही तुमच्या भाषेतून बोलता. स्वराज्य, स्वाधीनता, स्वतंत्र या सगळ्यात स्व महत्त्वाचं आहे आणि माताजी नेहमी स्वभाषेतून बोलतात. त्यामुळे मला असं वाटलं की मी देखील माझ्या भाषेतून तुमच्याशी सुरुवातीला 2 वाक्य बोललो पाहिजे. आणि नागपूरची ही भूमी या स्व संकल्पनेशी जोडलेली आहे. आपल्याला माहिती आहे की जगातली सगळ्यात मोठी स्वयंसेवी चळवळ ही नागपूरमध्ये सुरू झाली आणि नागपूर हीच ती भूमी आहे जी डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकरांच्या दीक्षाभूमीची देखील एक पवित्र भूमी आहे. आणि त्यामुळे सर्व नागपूरकरांच्या प्रेमाने इथे आलेले सगळेजण भारावून गेले आहेत. त्या सर्व नागपूरकरांना, आमच्या सर्व स्वागत समिती सदस्यांना मी मनापासून धन्यवाद देतो, अभिवादन करतो. फ्रेंड्स, when this C20 is happening over here, let me also give you some data about who all are attending, participating this particular conference. There are total 357 delegates today, including the members of the International Advisory Committee, the Steering Committee. Also, the total number of countries that are represented, which goes much beyond 20. 26 countries are represented here. And the total number of international delegates is also over 113. So this really makes a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in real sense of the term. The C20 Secretariat, Rambhau Mahagi Prabodhini took over, and it was in October 2022 that Mata Amrutanandamayi Devi ji, Amma, the founder of the Mata Amrutanandamayi Mutt, accepted our request and shouldered the responsibility of C20 India chair. We had various consultations thereafter with hundreds of voluntary organizations, popularly known as NGOs, in the development sector, both in person and in online format. We also studied the policy packs and communique of the previous C20 held in different countries. The last 4 C20 summits, I'm sure all of you are aware, took place in Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Italy, and Japan. There is a process for Secretariat which we followed, and finally the Secretariat was transferred to India after various rounds of meetings, consultations, discussions with different C20 countries and C20 Indonesia Secretariat as well. On the basis of the extensive consultations, the organization structure of C20 India was given a final shape. As part of the organization structure, a steering committee and an international advisory committee were formed. The SC and IAC comprises Indian members as well as a good number of international members. The inaugural ceremony of C20 India was held in an online format on the 16th of January 2023 under the chairmanship of Mata Amrutanandamayi Devi ji. The online ceremony was attended by distinguished members coming from both government as well as non-government sectors, including Shri Amitabh Kant, the Sherpa of G20, who is the former CEO of the Niti Aayog as well, Union Minister Shri Anurag Thakur, Shri V. Muralidharan ji, Tamil Nadu Governor Shri R.N. Ravi ji, Kerala State Public Education Minister Shri V. Sivang Kutti, and Kerala Member of Parliament, author Shri Shashi Tharoor ji, and several others. We conducted a Google survey because, as it happens, C20 is the people's movement, and therefore popular opinion dominates our thinking ideally. And therefore we conducted a Google survey to identify priority issues for India and the globe as well. More than 1,000 voluntary organizations participated in this Google survey. On the basis of the responses in this particular survey, we have decided to form 14 working groups. The themes of the 14 working groups, let me read the entire list. It's a very extensive list. The first one is integrated holistic health, mind, body, and environment. Second one, sustainability and resilient communities, climate environment, and net zero target. Third, education and digital transformation. Fourth, gender equality and disability. Fifth, technology. Then, of course, we have sustainable development. We also have a working group on rivers. We also have a working group on delivering democracy. We also have a working group on the Indic tradition of Seva. And we also have an important working group for preservation and conservation of traditional art, artisans, and culture as well. So I believe not a single important sphere of public life is left untouched. We certainly are not stopping here. We know that there are many small organizations in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of India, and we have a passion for voluntarism. And in order to ensure their participation, we have provided forums like, for example, there are several chaupals that are happening, people coming together, discussing the issues, giving their recommendations. There are some Samaj Shalas, which is kind of a school for social workers. Again, they are coming together, reflecting their views on various policy issues and giving us the recommendations. So all this will continue to happen from now onwards in a more profound manner. And by the end of July, I'm sure all the working groups would be completing their deliberations. And in the month of July, when we meet in Jaipur, the final outcome will be given some shape through some kind of policy packs which eventually will go to the G20 and they would look into whatever we have recommended. So this is going to be the procedure forward. Lastly, what is the importance of C20 being held in India? As all of us are aware, in India we have been believing in the concept of autonomous society. In today's language, as our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has been very eloquently stating it, Atmanirbharata. And therefore, for autonomous society, we require autonomous efforts coming from the people without any help and the expectation from the government. And therefore, the true kind of voluntarism is something perhaps which will help the entire NGO movement, or more importantly, the voluntary movement of the globe. And certainly the deliberations in all these working groups will show us some light how to move towards that. In a way, during the last over a century, the global community has participated, witnessed, given some impetus to what is known as right-based discourse. Now it is the time to move towards duty-based discourse via compassion and empathy, which are essentially Indian values. I believe the spirit of voluntarism in the Indian context is the sense of indebtedness, that I belong to the society and I owe to the society, and I believe this is going to be the important key features of the deliberations in the days to come. In Gita it is said, Adhishthanam tatha karta, karanam cha pruthagvid, vividhascha pruthak cheshta, daiva chaivatra panchamam. So the adhishthan, which is the foundational value that we require, or a set of values, I believe they come from our traditional Indian thinking, and I'm sure that is going to add a new dimension to the discourse about voluntarism or the civil society. Friends, the previous conference was held in Indonesia. Indonesia is to our east, and the next conference is going to be held in Brazil. Brazil is to our west. But India is in the middle, and under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I'm sure we are going to move towards the best. Thank you very much.